You are live.
All right, thank you for being patient, everybody. We'll call to order the regularly scheduled meeting of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board. It is Wednesday, the 3rd of May, 2023 at 7:09 p.m. All board members are present, which would include Vice Chair Kia Baskerville, Dick Peterson, Claire Conger, and Ryan Chitwood. Also with us tonight, we have City Attorney Mike Lyles and Deputy City Clerk Cynthia Gaines. First item, as always, the approval of the minutes. Has the board had the opportunity to review the minutes of our last meeting, and are there any additions or corrections or modifications?
Mr. Chair, I move they be approved.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, the minutes will stand as approved. Since this is a virtual meeting, anybody who wishes to testify may do so by way of written testimony, which can be submitted and then become part of the official record. Anybody wishing to do so may go to www.annapolis.gov/ABC. With that, we will declare our violation hearing open. We have several violations to come before the board tonight. First one being Mills Fine Wine and Spirits, 87 Main Street, Annapolis 21401. In accordance with the alcoholic beverages article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, the Annapolis Charter and Code, and the board's rules and regulations of the city of Annapolis, this disciplinary hearing is in connection with citation 23-1701, which alleges the sale of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21. Give it a minute so we can get everybody from Mills in here tonight. All right, if you're here for the Mills violation, could you turn your camera on and unmute yourself, please?
I have been added into this, but excuse me. Hello, Mr. Praley.
How are you, Mr. Donahue? It's good to see you. I know you're here for Picante, right?
Yeah, I'm here for the other. I think that there is another Donahue. And
I believe so, yeah.
I think it's Jennifer, I guess.
There's
Hello,
Jen right
Jennifer.
there, yeah.
We may be related somehow, but I'm with Picante.
All right, Mr. Donahue, we'll see you in a minute.
Sure.
Julian, can we get him out of this hearing?
Yes, sir. Hang on one second for me.
Thanks, no problem. Sorry, bear with us. We have a ton of people here tonight. All right. Jen, can you hear us? Yeah, if you can turn your microphone on. Should be in the bottom left. There you go.
There.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Okay, no problem. Are you the only one here appearing on behalf of Mills tonight?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great. If you could just raise your right hand, I'm going to administer the oath. Then I'm going to ask you to put your name and address on the record. And then I'm going to ask you a couple questions, okay?
Okay.
All right. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the statements you're about to give will be true and correct?
I do.
Okay, and just let's get your full name and address for the record, please.
Jennifer Lane Donahoe. And my address is 45 Cornhill Street.
All right, and Ms. Donahoe, have you had the opportunity to review the police report that was issued in connection with this infraction?
Yes.
Okay, and do you admit the charges?
Yes, I was there.
Okay, all right. Well, with that admission, we will note that this police report will be the city's evidence in this case, will become part of the official record. We'll then turn it over to you and you can let us know what happened and we'll see if the board has any questions, okay?
Okay. It was a busy afternoon, and we had a lot of people in the store. And one of our newer employees, a cadet, came up with a 12-pack of White Claw and he didn't check his ID, and he sold to him.
Okay.
And yeah.
Now, what have you done with that employee? Is that employee still employed at the store?
He is. So we have had one prior infraction in which we immediately fired that employee. That was a very experienced employee that was very well trained. This employee was relatively new, and while we did train him, we did feel like he could have the opportunity to have more training and more experience. It was a difficult decision, but we decided to give him a second chance and put him on probation.
Okay. All right. Does the board have any questions regarding this infraction?
I'm curious in what type of retraining you did for this employee.
Well, I mean, during the interview process, we make it very clear that it's a big priority for us. And so usually when someone that handles the register starts, they are side by side with a person who is already qualified. And we did that, and we just had to reiterate the rules. And he still is not, this was months ago, and he still is not left alone at the register. So we just think repetition and, thousands of checkouts will determine whether he can handle this or not.
Any additional questions of Ms. Donahoe? All right. Hearing none, the board will confer on this matter, and we will issue our decision before our next regularly scheduled meeting. Thanks for being here tonight.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks. All right. Next, we have Annapolis Wine and Spirits, 1307 Forest Drive, Annapolis 21401. Again, in accordance with the Alcoholic Beverages article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, the Annapolis Charter and Code, and the rules and regulations of this board, this is a disciplinary hearing in connection with citation 23-1702, alleging the sale of alcohol to individuals under the age of 21. And who do we have here? I see a Mr. Tobin, and then a couple other individuals. If we could get, thank you, Mr. Tobin, for unmuting. If we could get cameras on and everybody unmuted who's here to testify. All right, thank you, ma'am. And then we have one other person, last name Zhang, Z-H-A-N-G.
They're coming forward now, Mr. Chair.
Okay, great. Great, thank you. Mr. Zhang, could you unmute your microphone?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it should be in the bottom left corner of your screen. If you could unmute yourself.
Yeah, you hear
Perfect,
me?
great. All right, everybody who's going to testify, please raise your right hand while I administer the oath. Ma'am, if you could raise your right hand. Ma'am, could you raise your right hand, please?
Susie. Oh.
Oh, yeah, it's on the screen. Okay, great.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the statements you're about to give will be true and correct?
I do.
Yes.
Mr. Zhang, can I get an affirmative
Yes.
yes from you? All right. And then I'm going to need names and addresses for the record as well. We'll start with Mr. Tobin. If you could give us your name and address, full name and address, please.
Yeah, my name is Rob Tobin. I live at 679 Harness Creek View Drive, Annapolis.
All right. And then Mr. Zhang, if you could do the same.
Yeah, my name is Jumping Zhang. I live in 7902 Redbone Way, Anchorage, Maryland.
Okay, thank you. And ma'am, if you could give,
Fine.
thank you. And ma'am, if you could give us your full name and address too, please.
Yes. My name is Xiu Zhang, and I live at 7902 Redbone Way, Elkridge.
Okay, great. And who here is going to be presenting for the licensee? Mr. Tobin, are you going to?
Sure.
Okay, great. Have you had the opportunity to review the police report in connection with this infraction?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and do you admit the charges?
Yeah, we have spoke, and yeah, we are clearly at fault here.
Okay, all right. With that, we will state that the the police report will serve as the city's evidence in this case. We'll turn it over to you in mitigation. You can just tell us a little bit about what happened, what you're doing to fix the issues, and we'll see if the board has any questions, okay?
Yeah, no problem. There's no excuse. It was just as simple as good old fashioned human error. June, he goes by James. He was in there one day when this happened. It was a little bit busy. He had a slip up and did not card. I guess it was a cadet that came in, and we're just looking for a little bit of mercy, and we're deeply apologetic for this.
All right, what are you guys doing to make sure that this doesn't happen again? Have you done any retraining? Are you using card scanners?
I don't think we are doing the card scanner. We just are doing a 100% ID check all the time. And his sister, she has given him plenty of flack for this and made him feel the guilt. That's for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, especially, he's been there for like 6 years and, we should know better. But unfortunately, we made a mistake that we shouldn't have. So we feel sorry.
Okay. Does the board have any questions regarding this infraction? Okay. With no questions, the board will confer on this matter and will issue a decision for our next hearing, okay?
Thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. All right, next we have Bay Ridge Wine and Spirits, 111 Hillsmere Drive, Annapolis 21401. In accordance with the alcoholic beverage article of the annotated code of Maryland, the Annapolis Charter and Code, and this board's rules and regulations. This is a disciplinary hearing in connection with citation 23-1700, which alleges the sale of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21. And I see we have 3 in a room here on the same camera. So if you guys could all raise your right hand, I'm gonna administer the oath, then I'll ask you all to identify yourselves, okay? Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is true and correct?
Yes.
I do.
Okay, and if we could get everybody to identify themselves by their full name and address, please.
Yes, David Arthur Marburger, 3021 Bennett Point Road, Queenstown, Maryland.
Philip James Author, 1714 Riverdale Drive, Edgewater, Maryland.
And Jack Rohrbaugh. Jack Andrew Rohrbaugh, 367 Lake Road, Crownsville, Maryland.
All right, and now have you all had the opportunity to review the police report in connection with this infraction?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
We have.
And do you all admit the charges?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, with that, the police report will serve as the city's evidence in this case. We'll turn it over to you. One of you can speak on behalf of Bay Ridge, kind of let the board know what happened, what you're doing to address the situation. Then we'll see if any of the board members have any questions, okay?
Okay, thank you. I'd like to let Mr. Author, who's our general manager, who was here that evening, give the description.
All right, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we had a gentleman who had been working stock for us for quite some time, and we were training him to be a cashier. He had worked several shifts, probably around the number of 4 or 5 shifts as a trainee. It happened to be a little bit of a busy late Friday afternoon, and the training cashier started working another register with the trainee feet away from her because there was a little bit of a line, and the trainee did not card the police cadet.
Okay. What are you doing to ensure that this doesn't happen again?
Well, immediately after the paperwork, we sent the gentleman home. He came back in for his next shift, and myself and Mr. Rohrbaugh sat down with him and talked with him, and he decided that he was not up to the pressure of he had other things in his life, divorce, ill father, and this was just sort of the topping on the cake. So he decided to leave our business at that point. We have a majority of our staff already tips and TAMs trained, and we are in the process of arranging another class to get the remaining of the store and training. We have also asked our cashiers to to step up using our scan pals, our scan machines for IDs.
All right, does the board have any questions regarding this infraction? Nope. All right, hearing none, the board will convene on this matter and will issue a decision before our next regularly scheduled meeting. Thank you all for being here tonight.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. All right, next up, Parole Liquors, 2125 Forest Drive, Annapolis 21401. In accordance with the alcoholic beverages article of the annotated code of Maryland, the Annapolis Charter and Code, and the rules and regulations of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board of the City of Annapolis. This is a disciplinary hearing in connection with citation 23-1698, alleging the sale or providing of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21. Mr. Kim, can you hear us? Thanks. Can you take your microphone off of mute?
Okay.
Great. Go ahead and raise your right hand and I'm going to administer the oath, okay? Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the statements you're about to give will be true and correct?
Yes, I do.
All right. And if you could just give us your full name and address for the record, please.
Mike Kim, 5969 Glen Willow Way, Ellicott City, Maryland, 21043.
All right, Mr. Kim, have you had the chance to review the police report in connection with this citation?
Yes, I did.
And do you admit the charges, sir?
Yes, I do.
All right. With that, the police report will serve as the city's evidence in this case. We'll turn it over to you in mitigation. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you're doing to prevent this from happening again, and really anything that you feel relevant.
Yes, that was my employees the first week, and I really didn't have a chance to go over with him everything, and it happened so, unexpected. And after the instance, he was alcohol awareness training program, so he's much settled down right now.
All right, so you had him, he wasn't alcohol awareness certified at the time that he made the sale, but you had him trained afterwards.
Yes, I did.
How about the rest of your staff? Are they trained as well?
Yes, they're all training.
Okay, gotcha. So what are you doing aside from everybody being trained and you training this individual? What are you doing to make sure that this doesn't happen again?
After the incident, I was working with him for, side by side, and make sure, I don't care whoever comes in, make sure they ID every single person. So he's following that well.
All right, so you've implemented a 100% ID policy since this incident.
Yes, I do.
Great. That's good to hear. Does the board have any questions regarding this citation? All right, with no questions, Mr. Kim, the board will convene on this and we'll issue our decision before our next hearing, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, next up is Federal House, 22 Market Space, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Again, in accordance with the alcoholic beverages article of the annotated code of Maryland, Annapolis Charter, and rules and regulations of this board. This disciplinary hearing is in connection with citation 235901, alleging the sale of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21. Mr. Black, can you hear us?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, great. If you could raise your right hand, I'm going to administer the oath, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the statements you are about to give will be true and correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Give us your full name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, Jeremy Black, 408 Narnia Drive, Graysonville, Maryland.
All right, Mr. Black, you're in and out a little bit here, but we're going to try to work with you and see what we can do. Did you have the opportunity to review the police report in connection with this? You did? Okay. And do you admit the charges?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, with that, the police report will serve as the city's evidence in this case. Mr. Black, we'll turn it over to you in mitigation. Tell us a little bit about the incident, what happened, and what you're doing to prevent this in the future, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes. So this happened on an afternoon that we actually were not terribly busy. Bartender in question, Mr. John Baker, is the gentleman that served the cadet without IDing him. Mr. Baker's been with me for since pre-COVID, so 4 or 5 years now, is an exemplary employee. So after this incident, we have decided to use this as an additional training tool rather than to let him go. I've been here, 18 years now, and this is only the second time we've sat in front of this board. It's a bit embarrassing, to be honest. But again, we use this as a training tool and have kept him on board. We actually, prior to this, we are a 100% that gentleman. I cannot tell you, but I can tell you he will never do that again. But we are 95% tip certified, and again, we're 100% ID check.
Okay. Does the board have any questions regarding this case? All right. Mr. Black, with no questions, we will we'll convene on this matter and issue a decision before our next regularly scheduled meeting. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Sure. All right, next up, we have the Eastport Kitchen, 923 Chesapeake Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403. In accordance with the alcoholic beverages article of the annotated code, the Annapolis Charter and Code, and the rules and regulations of this board, this is in connection with infraction citation 235903, alleging the sale or providing alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21.
Mr. Chair, it does not seem that this participant is here yet.
Okay. All right. Julian, do we have a contact number for Tony or Celia to see if we can get somebody to pop on?
I don't. I've actually just texted someone for it, but Cindy,
Okay.
if you happen to have one, if you want to send it my way, that'd be great. But yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay, great. We'll skip it and we'll come back to it. Just interrupt if they show up. Okay.
All right, will do.
All right. Thanks, Julian. All right, then we will go to Davis Pub, 400 Chester Avenue, Annapolis, 21403. In accordance with the alcoholic beverages article of the annotated code of Maryland, the Annapolis Charter and Code, and the rules and regulations of this board, this is a disciplinary hearing in connection with infraction citation 23-5905, alleging the sale of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21. Mr. Kolbeck, how are you this evening?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right, if you could raise your right hand, we'll administer the oath, okay?
Yes,
You solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the statements you're about to give will be true and correct?
I do.
All right, and if you could give us your full name and address for the record, please.
Kevin Patrick Colbeck, 1 Chester Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403.
All right, Mr. Kolbeck, have you had the chance to review the police report?
I have, yes.
All right, do you admit the allegations?
Yes.
All right, so with that, the police report will serve as the city's evidence in this case. We'll turn it over to you in mitigation. Go ahead and tell the board a little bit about the incident, anything else you find to be relevant, okay?
Sure. Guilty as charged. We had an experienced employee make a mistake. It's personally and professionally embarrassing. I've been there 28 years. This is the first infraction we've had in 25 years. And like Mr. Black, we chose not to fire the employee. We're using it as a teaching moment. 100% of our bartenders, servers, and managers are tip certified. I think everyone's aware of the gravity of failing to do their job, and I think we will be better for it moving forward. Again, my apologies.
Okay, what are you doing to make sure this doesn't happen again? I know it's been a long time since you've had one of these, but cops are looking older and older at a younger and younger age.
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding.
I'm saying the police. It's easier and easier to get caught with these things. What are you doing to make sure it doesn't happen again? What are you doing to make sure we don't see it here in another year?
You know, it's a it was a very serious conversation. All of our people are tip certified. You know, it's a point of emphasis because this has happened for sure. You know, beyond where it normally is. You know, I think we rest on our record of 25 years, but you always want to be better, and hopefully we get another 25 years before we sit in front of you guys.
Yeah. All right. Does the board have any questions? All right. With no questions, we'll confront it. We'll issue a decision before our next regularly scheduled meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Okay. Next up, we have Picante, 48 West Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. In accordance with the Alcoholic Beverages article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, the Annapolis Charter and Code, and this board's rules and regulations. This is a disciplinary hearing in connection with citation 235907, alleging the sale of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21. And I know Mr. Donahue was here earlier. There he is.
I am here and I am here alone.
Okay, not a problem. Go ahead and raise your right hand. I'll swear you in, okay? Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the responses you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right. If you could give us your full name and address for the record, please.
Yeah, Patrick Donahue, 205 Hanover Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401.
All right. Mr. Donahue, have you had the chance to review the police report?
I have, and we would waive formal reading and we admit the charges.
Great. Thank you. With that, the police report will serve as the city's evidence in this case. Go ahead and tell the board a little bit about the incident, what happened, anything that you feel would be relevant in mitigation.
I mean, the incident is pretty straightforward and there really isn't, I'm sure there's not usually a very good excuse anyway, but in this particular instance, there's really no excuse. It was a quiet Monday afternoon with virtually nobody in the restaurant. And we had a young 19-year-old server who just didn't card. She knew better, but, you know, she's not here testifying at the hearing. I am. So, you know, I recognize, you know, where the buck stops. She resigned before her next shift. So I didn't have any opportunity to, I talked to her about the incident, but I didn't discuss with her what we were going to do about it. Frankly, it was not my inclination to let her go because that seemed a bit harsh for somebody in her circumstances, but in any event, that was not on my plate. So we move on to what we can do so that I don't have to meet with you all anytime soon, which would be my goal. And Federal House was kind enough to invite us to a tips training seminar of sorts that they put on where they closed the restaurant for the whole afternoon back in April. And we had a lot of our employees show up. We're trying to get everybody tip certified. We're at about 80% right now. I would like to think that within a month or 6 weeks, we'll have 100%. You know, part of the glitch with getting 100% is you get enough turnover that 100% is a tough mark unless you simply won't hire people who are not tip certified. So we're sorting through that, but we have the goal of 100% tip certification. Instead of telling people that they need to card anybody who looks like they're in their 20s, we've graduated to telling everybody, if you're not convinced beyond a reasonable doubt that they're 35 years old, card them. And that's where we are. And I'm hoping that takes us to the point, you know, I think we're doing our level best to not have to deal with this again. You know, that's the hope.
So we hope too. Does the board have any questions regarding this incident?
We wish you luck.
Well, thanks. Look,
With
I
that-
do every day now meander down to the restaurant, and I've implemented a quiz, which is what's my birthday if I'm turning 21 today? And people are embarrassed if they can't answer the question. So I have found that that's actually focused everybody's mind on thinking, I mean, they know why I'm asking. So hopefully we'll, avoid any of the future. I know, look, I practice law. I don't like breaking rules. I really don't like it when somebody else is breaking rules at my behest, or on my behalf anyway, not my behest, but I appreciate your time, and hopefully I won't see you back here.
With that, I appreciate you being here. We all do. We appreciate your candor, and we'll confer on this and circle back with you before our next regularly scheduled meeting. Okay.
Great. Thank you.
All right, thanks. All right, next up, we have the Ram's Head Tavern, 33 West Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401, in accordance with the alcoholic beverages article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, the Annapolis Charter and Code, and this board's rules and regulations. This is a disciplinary hearing in connection with infraction citation 23-5909, alleging the sale of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21. And it looks like we've got a bunch of people, including Mr. Nolan here tonight. Mr. Nolan, how are you?
Mr. Praley, I'm terrific. How you doing?
Good. Good to see you.
Good.
I'd
like to suggest that because of your huge schedule tonight, I took a look at the agenda and went, whoa. I will be very happy to present what we have through me. I was going to use our general manager, Chris Maziak, who's on the call. We also have the 3 current license holders, and we do have the server in question. Pamela has an eye, but I think to sort of expedite this, I'll be happy to present what we can if that suits you.
That's fine. And as a member of the bar, you're not going to need to be sworn in if you're going to proffer. I just want to make sure we can get everybody's name and address for the record. I know Miss Gaines is going to need that. Everybody who appeared tonight, we're going to need that. So I don't know, it might be easier just to have everybody pop on relatively quickly. And I appreciate you trying to expedite this. We saw the agenda too, and I think we were all
right.
It's the spring. Everybody wants a festival.
At any rate, I'm James P. Nolan, 125 West Street, Annapolis, 21401.
I am going to have everybody, just in case there's a comment or a question from the board, raise their right hands, except for Mr. Nolan, so I can administer the oath just in case. Do you all solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the responses you're about to give to any questions will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. All right. And now the tough part, we're going to have to get everybody's name and address for the record. We'll start with Mr. Muehlhauser. If you could go off of mute and just give us your full name and address for the record.
William Lee Muehlhauser, 1026 Von Pfister Street, Key West, Florida.
Okay. And then I see a Miss Muehlhauser. If you could do the same thing.
Yes, Bernadette Marie Muehlhauser, 409 Grinstead Road, Severna Park, Maryland, 21146.
Thanks. And then there's another Miss Muehlhauser. If you could do the same thing too, please.
Paula Muehlhauser. Oops. Unmute. Paula
It's working.
It's not?
No, it is. I can hear you loud and clear, but it was
okay, good. 1026 Von Pfister Street, West Florida.
All right. And then Pamela, if you could give us your full name and address, please.
Pamela Ann Hasenai, 1118 Elm Road, Arbutus, Maryland, 21227.
Thank you. And then Chris, same thing, please.
Christopher Maziak, 1 North Homeland Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401.
Thank you all. Sorry for that process. Mr. Nolan, I'm sure you've had the chance to review the police report, and I'm assuming you would admit the charges.
That is correct.
All right. Thank you, sir. We'll turn it over to you. Go ahead and let us know what happened in the incident and what you folks are doing to make sure we don't see you here again.
Thank you. Ram's Head Tavern is, I think it's fairly common knowledge, has been in business in Annapolis for 34 plus years. It also has either 5 or 6 other locations by now, so it employs a load of people. At any rate, regarding this offense on March 6, 2023. Ms. Has and I, quite frankly, who's been bartending for over 25 years and has been an employee of Ramshead for not quite a year, simply did not card the cadet. And it was as simple as that. I don't mind telling you that we are aware of her background. It is outstanding. She's an exemplary server, a bartender, and I know that she was shocked and is very chagrined by this whole thing. I don't expect that it's going to happen again, certainly with her, and we're doing our level best to make sure it doesn't happen with any of our many, many employees. I did submit earlier through Deputy Clerk Gaines certain documentation. One is a certificate of completion for Pam having again completed the alcohol awareness training program. This certificate is March 23rd, 2023. We thought it was a good idea once this occurred to have her redo the program. The second thing we did was we went back through the company's employee handbook, which is very significant, and we made one major adjustment, which is in the first paragraph of section 19, where we said Ramshead is committed to responsible service of alcoholic beverages. You are required to ask for identification of all persons ordering alcohol who appear to be under 40 years of age. Do not serve anyone who does not have the proper identification showing that they are over 21 years of age. And there's literally a whole page that describes the different types of licenses and ID, et cetera, et cetera. But you have that before you. But we did update that. It used to be 30 years of age, and we pushed it up to age 40. And the final thing that I've given you document-wise is there is an employee locker room on the premises at the Annapolis location. And that is where every employee goes to lock up their personal belongings before their shift starts. We have now, as you can see in the document that I presented, have posted a sign that is bright red with white letters that says reminder, anyone or everyone under 40 needs to be carded. It is your job or our job to serve alcohol responsibly. Speak with your manager. Any questions? So those are a few of the little things that we have done since this event. The other thing is that every day before a shift starts, the general manager, in this case, Chris Maziak, who's on this meeting, meets with the employees sort of to go over the shift expectations. And included in that is a reminder about making sure that people are carded and that they have proper ID before they're served. There are also at least 2 meetings of all employees every year. That is another topic that's brought up at every single meeting. So they keep hammering this home. And it's all we can say is it's very unfortunate that Pam is the subject of this because she really is a terrific employee. And, unfortunately things happen and perhaps they shouldn't, but it did. And we're trying to move on with that. So the only other comment I will make, because again, we have represented Ramshead since the very beginning, and there have just been very few incidents like this. One is too many, but things happen on occasion, and the company does try to really take this seriously, obey the rules. The only other thing I'd like to do is invite Bill Mulhauser as the founder of the company. I know that Bill would like to make a brief statement.
Okay. You can turn your phone off there. Thank you. Everybody hear me?
Yes.
I think what Jim said there is too much. I can remember when we got our first citation maybe 30 years ago and being nauseous on my stomach when it occurred. And I can tell you it doesn't feel any better 30 years later. Apologetic, we're sorry. We'll do our best in our shift meetings to try and reinforce this and do a better job. Don't really have anything else to add.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Presley. That's it, unless there are any questions.
All right, Mr. Nolan, thank you very much. Mr. Mulhauser, thank you for your candor. Does the board have any questions regarding this incident for anybody present today?
I just have a comment. I don't think it's really worth you being sick to your stomach over. So
I was
take an antacid and forget about it.
I was at BWI Airport and I remember getting the call.
All right, well, with no other questions, Mr. Nolan, the board will confer on this matter. We'll issue a decision before our next meeting. Thanks for being here tonight. Good to see you.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Good night.
Take care.
Right.
All right, next up, we have me, Lindo Cancun, 2134 Forest Drive, Annapolis 21401, in accordance with the alcoholic beverages article of the annotated code of Maryland, the Annapolis Charter, and code and the rules and regulations of this board. This is in connection with citation 23-5919, alleging the sale or providing of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21. Freddie, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. I'm actually Harry. My dad is Freddie. He's here with us as well, but it's I'm here with.
Okay. Are you prepared to present your case?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Can you guys raise your right hands while I administer the oath? Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the statements you're about to give will be true and correct?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
All right. And names and addresses for the record, please.
I'm Harry Somran. My address is 1886 Severn Grove Drive, Annapolis, Maryland 21401.
My address 1078 Sun Valley Drive, Annapolis, Maryland 21409.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Somran, have you had the opportunity to review the police report?
Yes, we have.
Okay. And do you admit the charges?
Yes, we do.
All right. Well, with that, the police report will serve as the city's evidence in this case. Turn it over to you to go ahead and tell the board a little bit about the incident, what you're doing to make sure it doesn't happen again, and then we'll see if the board has any questions, okay?
It was a Monday evening. We were a little bit busy during that Monday. One of our waiters called out during that day. So it was only 2 waiters that were available to work that day. They were really busy. And during that time when the cadet came in, his table right beside it was asking him a question. So instead of just checking the ID, he just took their order real quick and then went to their table right next to it. That's when we found out that it was a cadet. And unfortunately, you know, this is something that we take very seriously. We have meetings with our employees twice a month where we just talk about how we improve, review our Google reviews, and we always mention about the check-in the IDs. We like to reiterate in our meetings that this is something that we do take seriously, and we had to let go of the employee because of the fact that he did that, and that we mentioned this constantly over the meetings, that this is something that we really take seriously.
All right. Well, thank you for taking it seriously. Does the board have any questions regarding this case? All right. Hearing none, we'll confer on this matter and we'll issue our decision before the next meeting, okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have Dry 85, 193 Main Street, Annapolis 21401, in accordance with the alcoholic beverages article of the annotated code of Maryland, Annapolis Charter and Code, and this board's rules and regulations. This is a hearing in connection with infraction citation 23-5910, alleging the sale or providing of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21. And we have Ms. Bolter here for Dry 85 tonight. Ms. Bolter, could you raise your right hand? I'll administer the oath.
Yeah.
You solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the responses you're about to give will be true and correct?
I do.
All right. And give us your full name and address for the record, please.
Lisa Bolter, 616 Canal Lane, Annapolis 21409.
All right. Ms. Bolter, have you had the chance to review the police report?
I have, yes.
And do you admit the allegations?
Yes.
All right. With that, the police report will serve as the city's evidence. We'll turn it over to you and we'll let you go ahead and tell us a little bit about the incident, what you've done with Dry 85 to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Okay, so it was a Monday afternoon, like several of the others. Not a particularly busy day. We have our opening bartender who was working alone that day. And same as the rest, just did not card the cadet. We normally would have them working alone because it's not usually and very busy during a Monday afternoon. And it allows them to make a bit more money. But since that time, we have put on a server with every opening bartender so that there is no excuse for that, because it wasn't a particularly busy day. But that was the excuse that he used, that he got busy and overwhelmed. So to remedy that problem, we have put on servers during the day. So that is not an issue. We did let that bartender go right away. We terminated his employment, and mainly because he had actually been with us for a little while, but we have done everything that we can possibly think of to make sure this scenario doesn't happen, not just with a cadet, but with anyone. We take our liquor license very seriously. We have every single person in our that serves alcohol tips trained. We always have. He was also tips trained. We reiterate it in our weekly emails when we send out their schedules to them. We have an alcoholic service policy that we have all of them sign. It's in our handbook. There's not a lot I can really think of that we could possibly do to reiterate it more. One thing that we did do since then, though, is, we always have had the policy of carding anyone under the age or who looks to be under the age of 40. So we obviously are still continuing to do that. We have posted in our kitchen as well a notice, but also with the date of, if you're 21 today, so that there's no confusion on the date. But those are just a couple of the things that we have done since then. And I actually have had a handful of the servers re-tips trained, who are about to expire soon, and a few new people as well.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the initiative there. Does the board have any questions regarding this case? All right, with no questions, we'll confer on the matter and issue our decision before the next meeting, okay?
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks. All right, and our last matter on the disciplinary docket tonight, we have Tequila Sunrise, 1975 West Street, Annapolis 21401. In accordance with the alcoholic beverages article, the annotated code of Maryland, the Annapolis Charter and Code, and the rules and regulations of this board, this is a disciplinary hearing in connection with citation 23-5914, alleging the sale of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21.
Mr. Chair.
And I see, yep, go ahead, Julian.
Just so you know, Tony's here from Eastport Kitchen too, maybe after this one.
Okay, great, we'll snag him after that.
Yep.
Great. All right, fantastic. And I see we have Mr. Brown there. Mr. Brown, if you could introduce all of your clients tonight, I'll get them to raise their right hand and administer the oath, and then we'll go from there, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Samuel J. Brown, and Sarah Brown is with me representing the licensees tonight. To my immediate left is Jose Baruca. Mr. Baruca is the owner and licensee. To my immediate right is Gabriela Baruca, who was the server on that evening, and Mr. Baruca's daughter. Also on the screen is Mary Pastorik, who is our resident agent or licensee, the qualifier for the license itself.
All right, thank you, Mr. Brown. I'm going to get everybody who is planning on testifying to please raise their right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the responses given will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay. All right, we've got affirmative yeses. Ms. Pastrick, could you just give us your address for the record, please?
Sure, it's 407 Fairhill Court, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403.
Okay, and then the licensee and the server, if you could also give us your addresses for the record, please.
My name is Gabriela Baruca. My address is 12107 Town Lane, Bowie, Maryland, 20715.
Jose.
Jose Baruca. My address is 3804 North Place, Bowie, Maryland.
All right, great. Mr. Brown, have you had the chance to review the police report in connection with this infraction?
Mr. Chairman, we reviewed the police report. I have one preliminary matter to bring up. You couldn't go unscathed tonight. Sorry, number 13. What can I say?
Go right ahead.
One preliminary issue to bring up, and I'll bring up the preliminary. I'd ask that you dismiss the charges, and therefore, if that doesn't occur, then we'll go on and we'll make it very brief and very quick. Okay.
Okay.
But so we have read everything, and there's two comments I'd like to make. First of all, unless the board knows it or seen it before, the charging document is incorrect. The charging document charges for a charge that does not exist in the code. If you will look on the charging document itself, which they just had in front of me, on the third section, they're charged with section 3.5A of the rules and regulations. 3.5 doesn't exist. It's 3.05. And therefore you say it's technical because there's no O, but I have the code section here, which shows the issue regarding that, and the fact that 3.5 doesn't exist as a section. It should be 3.05 under the rules and regulations. That's the first thing. Now, is that a basis for having to get everything thrown out? You might throw out the rules and regulations, but the other two code sections are correct. Okay. So
Okay.
The next question is a policy question for the board on it. Your Honor, I've read completely the statement of charges. I've read everything. I've seen the signature of one police officer. And I don't know if the board has taken a position in the past that you don't need to prove that someone's under the age of 21 for service. But there's no driver's license here. There's no affidavit by the individual here. There's no affidavit by the police officer here. There's nothing that shows a picture of the individual that we have. Now I think we have a complete package, but if there's something we're missing, I apologize. But I can't find anywhere on the documentation, any of the affidavits or the statement of charges itself, except for a bald allegation that someone's under the age of 21. And so my concern is, how do you go forward against someone unless you can prove that the person was under 21? While we acknowledge, and we're going to acknowledging that we didn't card the person, we're going to acknowledge that certain alcoholic beverages were served at certain places. My concern is there's nothing that I've seen in the statement of charges or any affidavits, not even signed by the police officer who was the adult police officer with this individual, that shows that the person is under 21. So that is my first preliminary and my main preliminary objection.
Okay, Mr. Brown, we're going to take this matter under advisement, and as you know, with the City of Annapolis Liquor Board, we always issue a decision at the end. I think probably we're going to have to confer with counsel on this. So, I mean, if you want to present your case by way of mitigation, we're going to pass on that at this time, but we'll take it under advisement after you present your case, and we'll issue a decision with respect to your preliminary allegation, your preliminary motion.
Okay, thank you. After the mitigation, we go forward. And if there's proof that the individual is 21 years of age and the person came in, we would acknowledge that that person was not carded. We further state that this event occurred at 10 minutes till 3, roughly, on a Monday afternoon. Gabriella, who's to my right here, is the daughter of Jose, who is the owner of the premises. They have 5 employees in this restaurant. We're not like the bigger places and anything. They have 5. It's basically a family operation. Gabriella works the place from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock on Mondays and Tuesdays. She also works at a restaurant up in Bowie as a full-time position. She's been involved in the restaurant business for 6 years right now. In that 6-year period, she's never had a violation anywhere. She is not being terminated. She's my client's daughter. She is not being thrown out and anything. She is still employed there, and it's a pretty embarrassing situation for her. At 10 till 3 that day, she was waiting for the shift change, and the individual who was supposed to take her place did not come in. At that point, came in a little bit later. The police officers, or 2 individuals, walked in. They were the second customer of that whole day. Okay, that's one of the problems. You may remember that when they opened, they had trouble because they were opening during the COVID situation right before it. They had to be back several times for license situations because their extensions expired, because the building construction was so bad at that place that in this little remodel job, they wound up putting $485,000 in investment in it. Okay, and they do less than that on an annual basis right now as gross revenues. So they're open up, and for that day on that Monday, there was one customer before and they walked in. She started to sit them at a table and they said, no, we'd like to seat at the bar. She goes over, she hands them the menus in order and says, would you like to order something? And they say, we want to look at the menu. She then says, well, while you're looking at it, do you want something to drink? And then the younger person, who appeared to be Hispanic looking to her, with a full beard, a mustache, a beard, a full beard. And she says, he's older than I am. And he is 24, she's 24 years old, and the person looked older to her, and she didn't card him. She asked the other person what he wanted, and the police officer who was there with them, the older person, also ordered a beer. So you have 2 people ordering a beer. You have an adult and you have apparently a minor, who were in together, and I've never seen it before where the police officer actually ordered the alcoholic beverage himself. It's the first time I've seen this happen. But they ordered, put it down, they sat and talked for a couple of minutes, and then the boy leaves the room and the police officer says, "You're being charged." And that's exactly what happened. That's the way it came down. Is it right? No. Is it wrong what you did? 110%. But it happened. There are a series of circumstances. She's not here to put her dad out of business. She's not here to cause a fine. She's not here to cause anything negative on it. They work hard every day at that place. And trying to, you know, the location, it's a very difficult location. And that's one of the negatives for them. But it's starting to pick up. It's picking up on Fridays and Saturdays. They've never had problems with the neighbors. And if you all remember, we came in for the license, the neighbors had a concern about the hours of this license as to whether there could be noise and problems there. They've never had a problem there when it came to that at all. But they did serve it under age. And you know that they had a violation back in September of 2020. That person was terminated on the spot when that happened. They're gone. Now, what do? As Gabriella tells me, at her other job she goes to, they're required to serve card anyone under the age of 30 when they look under 30. Okay. And so I said, "What's your policy now?" She said, "To serve anybody that comes in. I'll charge anybody that comes in and have an ID." I said, "Even me. If I walk in, you're really going to ask me for an ID?" And she said, "Well, no." Okay. It didn't make me feel good. It didn't make me feel bad either. So the issue is, it's a judgment call. She is 24 and the guy there looked older than her. And it was a judgment call and it was a mistake. And when both of them sat there and ordered a beer, I mean, it looks like it's almost, I'd argue some legalese, I'd argue some entrapment, but I'm not going to argue that all right now. My position is very simple, that there's no proof that the person is under the age of 21 that has been provided to us. And I think that's an essential element of this case. But other than that, we did it. We did the improper things. We've done what we can. Everybody that works there is tip certified. And she is now crowd certified, whatever the crowd. I didn't know about that until I got explained it today. She's also crowd certified now. So they have the certifications. They operate the restaurant. They're there every day. It's not a rabble-rousing place. And we asked the board to consider our position, the fact that it was a mistake, and we're sorry about that. And we know you're not out to hurt young businesses and little businesses. We know you're here to help us, and that's why you're doing things like this. We're just hoping that I haven't hurt them by making the technical argument that I decided to make, because everybody else walked through it very simply and quickly. But I saw two issues here and I had to point them out to you. And I have concerns about both of those issues. One is tantamount to nothing. The other is a very serious one. So we present this to you. I ask you to consider those positions. And if you have any questions from my clients, they're willing to answer them. Gabriella's willing to. She's not anxious to talk right now because she's pretty nervous about everything, because she not only failed herself, but she failed her family. And that's a very tough situation for her to be in. So that's where we are right now. And I ask for any indulgences you can give us on this.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Does anybody have any questions of Mr. Brown or his clients? All right, with none, Mr. Brown will, and Ms. Brown, sorry, we will hold this matter under advisement. We'll issue a decision before our next meeting, okay? And we will consider both of your arguments regarding the incorrect charge and the no proof of ID as well, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, with that, we will declare the disciplinary hearing closed, and we
Mr.
will...
Chair?
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, Eastport Kitchen is here. I'm sorry, thanks, Julianne. So we'll recall the matter of Eastport Kitchen, 923 Chesapeake Avenue, Annapolis 21403. In accordance with the alcoholic beverages article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, the Annapolis Charter and Code, and the rules and regulations of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Board, City of Annapolis. This is a hearing in connection with citation 23-5919, alleging the sale of alcoholic beverages to individuals under the age of 21. Mr. Moyna, Ms. Moyna, you guys could raise your right hands. I'm going to administer the oath really quickly. Do you solemnly swear and affirm under the penalties of perjury that the statements you're about to give will be true and correct?
We do.
Yes.
Okay, great. And if we could just get full names and addresses for the record, please.
I am Anthony Moyna, 713 Springdale Ave, Annapolis 21403.
Celia Moyna, 713 Springdale Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403.
All right. Thank you both for getting on this Zoom. Have you had the chance to review the police report?
Yes.
Okay, and do you guys admit the charges therein?
We do.
Okay, great. So with that, we will consider the police report the city's evidence in this case. We'll turn it over to you both. One of you can present, you both can present. Just tell us a little bit about the incident and what you're doing to prevent it from happening in the future.
Well, the incident's similar to what the stories we've heard from everyone else that preceded us. On a Monday afternoon, a cadet came in and was served a beer, and at that point our citation was written and we received it. I will say that after 8 years of trying very hard to be responsible members of the business community here, we're very embarrassed about this, particularly this aspect of our business. And I will say that I thought that we were very clear and in making the staff know how important this issue is, but apparently we weren't in this case. Since then, our entire staff, that is anyone who's involved in handling, serving, dispensing beer or wine, because that's all we serve in the Eastport kitchen, has been alcohol awareness certified and has passed the exam. So everyone you'll see out in the front of our house has a certificate saying they've passed alcohol awareness training. And the employee who handed the beer out has been with us for 5 years. Our environment isn't such that we run around threatening to fire people very often, but in this case, I've explained to the whole staff in no uncertain terms that this person took a mulligan for everyone because she's still with us. And it is a job-threatening act. And if it happens again, that's what will happen if you're the one who is caught serving alcohol to a minor. Moreover, and more important than that, we think that we've taken much greater strides in terms of saying how important this is, that it's no laughing matter. Obviously, the person who served the beer was a little too casual in the whole thought process involved in serving alcohol. And as a result, we're here tonight. And we don't want to be here again. And I assure you we'll do everything we can to prevent that. Thanks for bearing with our technical difficulties also. We appreciate it.
Not a problem. It happens all the time. Does the board have any questions of Mr. and Ms. Moina? All right, no questions. We will confer on this matter and issue a decision before our next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
All right, now we will declare the disciplinary hearing closed, and we will turn on to our regular agenda and go on for some new business. First, we have Stan and Joe's request for an extension of licensed premises with consumption of alcoholic beverages for use of a private parking lot adjacent to the establishment during the Great Gatsby Spring Fling celebration, Sunday, May 21st, 2023, from noon to 7 p.m., 37 West Street, Annapolis 21401. Joe, are you there? There you go.
You're muted, Joe.
Am I here?
There you are.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Hey, how are you? I just need the name and address for the record, and then you can go ahead and tell us a little bit about this extension request.
Joseph Daniel Patrick McGovern Jr., 817 Valley Drive, Crownsville, Maryland, 21032.
All right.
The Great Gatsby Spring Fling is being run by our dear friend Kevin Lebling, who's been running the open mic on West Street since before we were there, 20 plus years. It's a gathering of the local musicians, and they're doing a Great Gatsby theme, flappers, zoots. I'm not up on my flappers, but and also, as always, we try to do a fundraiser when we do special events like this. It's actually going to our dear friend John O'Leary and Warrior Events. We're going to try to raise them some money, and it's a typical Stan and Joe's lot event. You know, no glass, plastic, tips security at every egress. We do bands. If you don't have a band, you don't get alcohol. We'll be having food and drinks, some special fun types of food. I have no idea. And, you know, I don't know. We're gonna have themes, food and drinks for the party. You know, we have permission of the landlord. We have the city on the insurance as always. And like I said, we have a strict policy of no liquor getting onto city property. Usually this is held with inside at the hotels, but Kevin wants to do it because, like I said, he's been at 37 West Street for longer than I have, every bit of 20, 25 years. He was at Sean Donald Ford. So we'd love to do something outside. If it rains, it moves inside. 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock, as always, well aware of volume. And it's like I said, you guys know me by now. We take it very seriously, and you know, everyone's got my number, and I'll be there. Now I don't know if I'll wear a zoot suit, but I'll be there. So, and like I said, everyone's got my cell phone in case I don't. So, and that's it.
Thanks. Does the board have any questions about this request? All right, hearing none. Do I hear a motion for approval for this extension of licensed premise request for the Great Gatsby Spring Fling by Stan and Joe's, Sunday, May 21st, 2023, from noon to 7, 37 West Street, Annapolis, 21401?
I motion we approve.
I'll second the motion.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right, your request is granted, Joe. Have fun, okay?
Thank you. I got a quick question for you. I know you got a crazy, I'll make it quick. We had talked about asking for permission for the Pride Parade on June 3rd. And I guess it didn't make the cut. And it's a big event. Like, I guess I should reach out to Cynthia tomorrow.
Yeah, we don't have anything for tonight's agenda.
Okay.
But yeah, if you wanna reach out to Cindy to see what's going on with that.
Copy that.
See what we can do. Okay.
All right. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks.
Thanks, Joe.
All right, next we have an application for consumption of alcoholic beverages on city property for the Stanton Center. It's a wedding reception. This is for Sandra Daniels Bay for Saturday, May 6th, 2023, 5 to 9 p.m. 92 West Washington Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Do we have anybody here for this request? Doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think we do right now. No.
Okay. All right. Well, then why don't we hold this? If we have contact information, maybe we can try to reach out. And it looks like we've got a phone number on the application, 2 of them actually. So maybe we can reach out and see if we can get them on, but we'll come back to this one and hold it for now.
Cindy, can you send me that number? Thank you.
Okay. Next, request by Boatyard Bar and Grill for an extension of licensed premises with consumption of alcoholic beverages and live music for use in the back parking lot of the establishment for a captain's party, which is scheduled for Friday, May 5th, 2023 from 5 to 8 p.m. and Saturday, May 6th, 2023 for the tournament awards ceremony from 5 to 8:15 p.m. Both events taking place at 400 4th Street, Annapolis, 21403. And I see Kevin's here. Hey, Kevin, how are you?
Good evening.
Can you just give us your full name and address for the record and then tell us a little bit about this request?
My name is Kevin Gentle. I'm the general manager of the Boatyard Bar and Grill in Annapolis. My current address is 412 Golf Course Drive, Arnold, Maryland, 21012.
All right, go ahead and tell us a little bit about the fishing tournament this year.
And I do apologize. I have lost video. Can you guys see me okay?
Yeah, we can see you. You've got a really
Okay.
black background, but it's all right.
All right. I can't see you, but I'm just going to go ahead. I'm here tonight before you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It's always great to see you all. I'm here before you tonight to seek approval for the Boatyard Bar and Grill's 20th annual opening day rockfish tournament this Saturday. It is to benefit the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, the Coastal Conservation Association of Maryland, and of course, the Annapolis Police Youth Fishing Camp. Our event is a carbon copy of what we've done in the past 20 years. We have secured perimeters, we have uniformed police officers, we have tip certified bartenders, as well as ID checks at the front gate with wristbands. On Friday, there'll be a brief party with the captains where they'll receive their yardsticks, they'll get their rules sheets. They'll enjoy just a little bit of live music and some drinks, and then we'll get them out early because the fishing starts early on Saturday. The party starts at 5, goes to 8, and we'll get everyone out of there nice and early and home, so we can enjoy the weekend. Thank you.
All right, and you said carbon copy, absolutely nothing's changed since last year.
Nothing's changed. Everything's the same. I think we run a pretty good event. Like I said, it's our 20th year. We've got it locked in pretty tight.
All right, no issues in the past that we need to know about?
No, sir.
All right. Does the board have any questions about these requests?
I move it be accepted.
Second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right, Kevin, your request is granted. Have fun, okay?
Thank you, guys. Have a
Thanks.
great weekend.
You too. We will combine items 17 and 18. These both concern Chicken Roots Deli. We have two applications for a substitution of an officer on alcoholic beverage licenses by CR Brands LLC, trading as Chicken Roots Deli. The first licensee to be removed is Matthew Taylor, being substituted with Peter Selleck. The second licensee being removed is Lisa Taylor, being substituted with Spencer Jones. This is for 165 Main Street, Annapolis 21401. And I see Mr. Jones here. Do you have anybody else here with you, Mr. Jones?
No, just me tonight.
Okay, all right. Could you just give us your full name and address for the record, please?
Yes, Spencer Jones, and my address is 1830 North Forest Court, Crofton, Maryland 21114.
All right, Mr. Jones, go ahead and tell us a little bit about these substitution requests.
Yeah, so to address the one for Peter Selleck, we are requesting to hold off on that one. We are still waiting on Maryland CJIS background check approval for that.
Okay, so you want to withdraw that from tonight's docket and have it at another time? Okay, great. So just go ahead and tell us a little bit about adding you to the license.
Sure. So I am the owner of Chicken Roots. And I guess within the last year, the Taylors, Matthew and Lisa, have sort of sold their shares back to the company. So they are going to be coming off. They're no longer officers in the company. So they're going to be coming off the liquor license. At the time that my dad passed away, Keith Jones, 2 years ago, I was out in Wisconsin. Now I'm back here and in a position to be involved with the business operations. So it's a good time for me now to be on the license, sort of representing us in that capacity.
All right. And are you going to be working at the restaurant?
So I'm not sort of working in like a shift capacity as a server or manager, but I am in a few days a week, sort of operationally overseeing on both the finance and kind of restaurant operations side.
Okay, great. And I'm assuming you've had a chance to review our board's rules and regulations, and you understand that ultimately, as a licensee, the buck stops with you. You could be one of those 13 people who are in front of us tonight if there are any infractions or violations, right? You understand that?
Yes, planning not to be, but I do understand that.
We hope you're not. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you're well aware of that, even though you might not be there day to day. If something happens and you're on the license, we expect to see you here to answer for it.
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Well, does the board have any questions about this one substitution request? Nope. All right, hearing none, I would actually make a motion that we approve the substitution for Chicken Roots Deli, and I'd look for a second.
I second.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
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 All right, your request is granted. Good luck, Mr. Jones. Thanks for being here.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
You too. Okay, now we have several parking lot or parklet requests. The first being by Grump's Cafe, which is St. Croix North Inc., trading as Grump's Cafe. And we have a request to use the parking lot for 117 Hillsmere Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403. And who's here for Grumps?
I'm sorry, Mr. You're doing these all separately?
Yeah, I'm going to do them all separately because they're all kind of different.
Sorry, gentlemen. I'm going to send you on back.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
I don't think you have anyone here for Grumps.
Okay.
Let me double check real quick.
I think Mark labeled everybody with a number, so if you don't see 19,
Yeah,
I don't think we're okay.
Well, 19 is wound up being a bunch of people because of how the.
Oh, got it. Okay.
But no, I don't see a Dina Bradbury though.
Yeah, it should be Dina, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe we can try contacting them. We'll put that one to the side and come back to it. And then we'll go to Galrob Inc. trading as Galway Bay. Request for seasonal usage of a parklet or private parking lot to increase the license footprint, including outside dining component for Galway Bay, 61 to 63 Maryland Avenue. Have anybody here from Galway Bay?
I don't think so. What's the name you have there? Sure.
I think Anthony Clark normally comes.
Anthony Clark.
Yeah, I have that now. I thought you said a different name. No, I don't have an Anthony Clark here.
Okay. Let's put that one to the side as well. How about Main and Market? Do we have anybody here from Main and Market?
Chrissy Rossetti? No, it does not look that way. No, sir.
Put that one to the side as well. And City, everybody was notified, right, of the hearing?
Sir, they all had to submit their individual requests to the board for this meeting.
Yeah. And then we provided them notice on the date and time, huh?
We did.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, we do have the rest of the applicants, I believe. Because
Okay, that's great. And maybe
Garhart is Kevin as well.
Okay, right. Maybe what we have to do is just bring them forward to our next meeting, instead of trying to call them up if they've all been notified. But we will go to Davis's, and this is again a request for seasonal usage of parklet or private parking lot to increase the square footage for licensed premises. 643 DP Inc. trading as Davis's Pub, which is 400 Chester Avenue, Annapolis 21403. Mr. Colbeck, good to see you again. If you could just give us your name and address for the record and tell us about this request.
Kevin Colbeck, 1 Chester Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403. I would, just for clarity for some of the other applicants that aren't here right now, we did receive an email from, I believe, Hope Stewart that said that our liquor license would automatically renew for use in the street. So if there's some people that weren't aware of this, we got a last second call from our attorney just to say, heads up, you're on the docket twice tonight. So just to clarify kind of where maybe some confusion lay. For us, with our parklet, same exact operation as we ran last year. Signage to say you can't leave with your alcoholic beverages, standard issue across the board. We didn't have any issues with it last year. We don't anticipate any issues with this year. It's great for us because it kind of gives us a direction to push people. If they're milling around, we can just kind of corral them into a space. And I think it's just worked out very, very well for us on a lot of different levels.
All right, no issues at all with the extension?
No.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Colbeck?
Kevin, I just want to bring something up to you. Somewhere, someplace, there was a picture of somebody outside the barricades. They were actually leaning against the barricades with a drink in their hands. So kind of tell who's ever outside to keep an eye out for that, please.
Oh, what I would tell you, Dick, and I appreciate you bringing that up because I think it's a great topic. With our proximity to the dinghy dock and with the sailors and everybody else coming and going, and truthfully, a lot of the neighbors, and whether they're egressing from another restaurant or from their house, from a boat to somewhere, a lot of times people walk down with the street with a drink, and at which point we just say, I'm sorry, we can't let you on the premises with that cocktail. And at that point, we've done our job because we've kept them off of us. And I think the optic, maybe what you're looking at, is they're leaving with one of our drinks. And I know our staff well enough to know that that's not something that they're going to let people do.
Yeah, I just wanted to make you aware of it, that, somebody took a picture of it and
Well, and the other thing, Dick, because I think this is becoming a thing citywide with a lot of different things, is it proved to me that there's alcohol in that drink, that it's not a near beer. It's not an orange juice. It's not water.
Hey, trust me, I know. I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
I appreciate it.
Because I know you tell your people outside to be aware of that, but somebody saw it and they took a picture.
Understood. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, any questions?
I move this be accepted.
For a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, Kevin, thanks again for sticking around. Your request is granted.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a great night.
All right, next we have Dock Street, request for seasonal usage of a parklet or private parking lot by Dock Street Enterprises, Inc., trading as Dock Street Bar and Grill, 136 Dock Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Do we have anybody here for Dock Street?
I'm here, guys.
Oh, Mr. Howard, there you are.
Yep.
There you are. All right, can you just give us your name and address for the record, and then go ahead and tell us about this request, whether you've had any issues in the past.
Sure. It's Jeff Howard. It's 190 Campus Green Drive, Arnold, Maryland, 21012. We had a great program last year, carbon copy, nothing different, no issues. It's I think it's just great for downtown.
All right, any questions for Mr. Howard? All right, well, I'll make a motion that we approve this request.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you. Your request is granted.
Thanks, guys.
Have fun, Jeff.
All right, next we've got a request by Forward Brewing for the same thing, use of parklet or private parking lot at 400 4th Street, Annapolis, 21403. I saw Cam earlier. Cam, if you could give us your full name and address for the record, please.
Sure. It's Camden Bodrin, 109 East Bayview Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403. And also, I just want to point out it's 418 4th Street.
Oh, 418 4th Street. Got it. My apologies. This will be 418 4th Street. All right. I'm assuming, much like the other folks, you're doing a carbon copy of what you had in the past.
Yep. We've never stopped. As you all know, I think we've made the case for why outdoor dining is important to not just Forward, but Annapolis. I don't think I need to elaborate on that too far, except for that we want to keep outdoor dining going, and with that, allowing people to drink while outdoor dining or in our space for comfort, safety, lots of reasons. So pretty much the same thing we've been doing. We have, just to explain that, we have a roped in defined area that is our outdoor dining area. It only has 2 entrances. It has plenty of supervision. We have hosts, we have servers, we have food runners, bussers, managers. We serve our full menu outside. It's pretty much everything we do inside, we do outside.
Okay. Any questions regarding this request?
Cam, what are you doing to keep the noise down in the back of your parking lot?
We close earlier outside than we do for inside hours. We don't feel that things are noisy in the back, but we do, we are conscious of our surrounding, and we do know that voices carry. We do ask people sometimes if they have dogs that are barking or something like that, to, try to keep them settled and move to the front if that's necessary.
Yeah. What time do you close out there? 9?
Yes.
All right. Any additional questions regarding this request?
No, I make a motion to approve it.
Second.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, your request is granted.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next, same thing for Preserve 164 Main Street, Annapolis 21401. Request for seasonal usage of a parklet for private parking for Preserve LLC, trading as Preserve 164 Main Street. Ms. Hoffman, you there?
Yes, hello.
Can you just give us your address for the record, please?
Yeah, Michelle Hoffman at 104 Stone Point Drive, Unit 413, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401.
All right, tell us a little bit about this request.
So we'd like to, again, extend our dining room to be a little al fresco. We have 4 tables, 12 covers. It does seem small, but we are a small, intimate dining space inside. We just would like to extend that for the season and make a little hay when the sun shines, as they say, to our parklet. And again, it's great money for the staff. It's great money for us. I feel like it's good tax money for the cities. So I feel win-win for everyone as we continue to explore fun ways to enjoy downtown Annapolis.
And you've had this before, no issues in the past?
No issues in the past. No, I think, like I said, it's very much, we're sort of casual but correct service. We like to have this outdoor section to have sort of a similar dining experience as it would inside. So full menu, dining experience, full wine list, cocktails, the server is dedicated there. So same staff, of course, that are trained and tip stamp certified, will continue to serve responsibly outside. And we just really love this part of the season and the vibe of the parklet downtown. So I think, again, it adds to the ambiance of downtown Annapolis, especially Main Street, as it evolves.
All right, great. Any questions of Ms. Hoffman regarding this request?
No, I move for approval.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, your request is granted. Thanks so much.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right, moving to a request for a special Class C one-day liquor license, the Organization of Hispanic Latin Americans of AAC Inc. for the Maryland Taco Fest. This is a request for Saturday, May 6, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 801 Chase Street, Annapolis, 21401. And I see we have Ms. Gutierrez here. Good to see you this evening. If you could just give us your full name and address for the record, please.
Okay, thank you. My name is Laura Gutierrez. My address is 445 Doden Road, Davidsonville, Maryland, 21035.
All right, tell us a little bit about this event.
So we are organizing the Taco Fest with OLA, the Organization of Hispanic Latin Americans of Anne Arundel, the Salvadorian Commission of Anne Arundel, Maryland Hall, a couple of restaurants, the city, the county. It's a fundraiser for the 2 nonprofits I mentioned at the beginning. And it's in the same format, same style that we do the Day of the Dead Festival. I helped to organize both. We have a tent for selling beer and margaritas. There will be 13 taco stands. So that will be a lot of tacos and free tacos for judging. So the idea is to have a contest and for it to have a popular vote on which is our favorite taco. There'll be equestrian dance, norteña band, that's sort of regional Mexican music from the north of Mexico, children's activities, face painting, and things of the like.
All right, and what kind of alcoholic beverages are you serving? Margaritas, beer, that kind
Margaritas
of stuff?
and beer. And we have the wristbands already. We have our designated folks that do the ID checks, and everything will be directly in that one tent for selling alcohol.
Okay, and you're carding everybody, you're providing wristbands, making sure that beverages aren't leaving that one tent area?
Yes, and it's the same way that we've done the Day of the Dead Festival, if you've ever been to those.
Yep, okay. And you haven't had any issues with those in the past, have you?
No.
Okay. All right, does the board have any questions regarding this request?
I move that we allow this.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, Ms. Gutierrez, your request is approved. Have fun.
Thank you so much. Hope to see you guys
Thanks.
there.
All right, and we will now combine items 28 and 29. These are requests by Maryland Hall for Ram's Head concerts. The first is scheduled for Saturday, June 3rd, 2023, 6:30 to 9:30.
Sorry.
801
Chair?
Chase Street. Yep.
Excuse me. Or did you skip 27?
Yes.
Oh, I did skip 27. I apologize. Sorry, I'm a lot of numbers here tonight. We'll call Dennis in just a second. Sorry, Dennis. We'll go to 27, the application for a sidewalk cafe permit by Leo's Annapolis LLC, trading as Leo's Annapolis, 212 West Street, Annapolis, 21401. Sorry to skip you, Mr. Leonard.
That is okay.
All right, just get your full name and address, please.
It's Brian Leonard at 5 Arley Drive, Annapolis, Maryland, 21409.
All right, go ahead and tell us a little bit about this sidewalk cafe permit that you're seeking and what you plan to do.
We just want to put a few tables out in front of our building on the sidewalk, kind of up against the building. We just want to bring a little bit of life and ambiance to the sidewalk on our block. It's going to be the same experience as inside. I'm not sure if anyone's been to Leo yet, but sit down restaurant experience, elevated dining. There'll be a server, who's attentive on that section of tables.
All right, you got to get food with a beverage out there, right? You can't just go. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Gotcha. All right. Does the board have any questions regarding this request for the sidewalk cafe permit? I'm sorry, Dick, you were muted.
You're muted too, Kia.
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
I move we approve.
Okay.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, Mr. Leonard, your request is granted.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks.
All right, good night.
All right, now we'll turn to items 28 and 29 from Maryland Hall. These are requests for special class C one-day licenses. The first Saturday, June 3rd, 2023, 6:30 to 9:30. The second, June 4th, 2023, 6:30 to 9:30, 801 Chase Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Mr. Coughlin, good to see you tonight. Just give us your name and address for the record and tell us about these two events, please.
Good evening, Dennis Coughlin, 308 Linden Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. A continuation of our partnership with Ramshead. They're bringing a couple bands to us in June at the beginning of the month, and then I'll be back next month for the end of the month ones. These are, we'll be serving just beer, wine, and water, and maybe even some sodas. We've started adding that to the repertoire. And for about an hour before the show, if they do have an intermission, which we don't always know if we're going to have until the day of, we would open up for that 15-minute time frame. And then we do not, once we close after that 15 minutes, we do not reopen it. And we serve out of our new community room on the second floor, which is just 25 feet from the doors to the theater.
All right. No changes. Same thing for both events.
That is correct. Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. Any questions regarding these requests from the board?
I move we approve.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
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 All right. Your requests are approved. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
I like the beer, Dennis.
It's going away soon. Don't worry.
All right. Next, we have consumption of alcoholic beverages on city property request by Warrior Events. This is for an event to be located at the Susan Campbell Park, 1 Dock Street, Annapolis, 21401. And our agenda does not, oh, here we go, 5/19/2023 from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And Mr. O'Leary, I see up there, if you could just give us your name and address for the record, please.
John O'Leary, 1201 Cromwell Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland, 21403.
All right. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this midshipman appreciation party?
Thanks, and thanks for having me, and thanks for supporting Stan and Joe's earlier. This event on Friday the 19th is in partnership, War Events partnership with Zachary's downtown, as we look to support the incoming seniors from the class of 2024. We are actually working with senior classes as they look to graduate and learn more about what they're going to encounter as they go out to the fleet. This event is obviously to celebrate the end of the year on City Dock, Susan Campbell Park, a venue that I am very well aware of. This number of attendees is much smaller than I normally have down there. I am working, or I should say, we are working with Adams Ribs as the caterer and their bar staff, which are all tips trained. They're also the staff managed by Sean Leahy, who is the bar manager for all of my events as well. Also crowd control certified. We have bouncers that are being brought in, hired. They're off-duty police officers and actual off-duty bouncers as well. One off-duty police officer, one off-duty bouncer. We'll have a tent. We have our permits for the tent and for the event. The tent will be set up on Tuesday. Just point out that the Ride to Work event is held on that Thursday on Susan Campbell Park, and we are partnering with the city to allow them to use that tent at no charge. That's all I have. Thanks.
All right. Does the board have any questions regarding this request?
How many people, John, how many people did you think are going to attend? I mean, it's just for the class of 2024 at the Academy?
It's not the full class. There's 300 guests.
Is it like an invite only thing, or is it pre-registration?
It is through Zachary's. So it's roughly 150 midshipmen and their guests, their dates.
Mm-hmm.
John, and you're assuming everybody's over 21?
No, they will be carded. No, definitely not, especially at that age. Some will not be 21. This is a beer and wine event with a DJ only, and there will be wristbands, and they will be carded when they come in the door at the reception table. Good question. Thanks, Dick.
Any other questions for Mr. O'Leary?
I move we approve.
Second.
Yeah, second.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Your request is granted. Have fun.
Thanks a lot.
Good night, John.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
John.
Thanks.
Bye.
All right. And we'll combine items 31 and 32, both requests by the Naval Academy Athletic Association for special Class C one-day licenses for Annapolis Blues soccer match. The first is to take place on Wednesday, May 10th, 2023 from 7 to 9:30. The second to take place Saturday, June 3rd, 2023 from 7 to 9:30, both taking place at 511 Taylor Ave, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401. Mr. Gibbons, good to see you tonight. You're on there twice, so we'll see how this works out. Works out perfectly. Just give us your name and address for the record, and then go ahead and let us know about these soccer matches.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, there's a bit of an echo on my end, but
yeah, I think you're signed in twice, actually, Bill. We've got a picture of you.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. Try now. Better?
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Praley and members of the board. My name is Bill Givens. I'm the Senior Associate Athletic Director with the Naval Academy Athletic Association. My address is 8 North Southwood Avenue, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401.
All right, thanks. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about these soccer matches.
Okay, so this summer, the Annapolis Blues soccer team, which you may have heard of, the new minor league soccer team coming to Annapolis, will be playing their matches at Navy Marine Corps Memorial Stadium, with the first match next Wednesday, May 10th. They'll be playing games throughout the summer. I appreciate Miss Gaines getting me on the agenda tonight for the match next Wednesday and the match on June 3rd. I'll be back to present for the rest of the season. But we are asking for a request for a special Class C one-day liquor license to sell beer and wine at these events that take place May, June, and July. The Blues will be playing 8 games total through the summer. 2 of those dates are holds for possible playoff games, but we'll go ahead and request for licenses for those dates, whether we use them or not. We're requesting to be able to sell beer to our patrons in the concession stands at the stadium through our concessionaire Sodexo. As with past events, such as Navy football, the Military Bowl, and Navy lacrosse this year, where we have sold beer, the following measures will be in place. Gates to the stadium will open up 1 hour prior to kick. We'll be selling beers, as I said, throughout the stadium and our concession stands. Beer sales will end at the 22-minute mark of the second half, which is equivalent of the end of the third quarter, start of the fourth quarter for a football game. This is a ticketed event. As is our procedure, there will be 100% ID checks, and those served after they get their ID checked will be given a wristband for proof of age verification. Sodexo servers are all tips trained, and they're also empowered to refuse service to anyone that they feel has been overserved. There'll be a limit of 2 beers per customer per transaction. We'll have Safe Security, who's our security provider out of Baltimore, will be working the gates to make sure that no alcohol is brought in or leaves the premises. Plus, they'll be in the stands and on the concourse monitoring for underage drinking or those also who may have been overserved, and prevent underage drinking. The entire stadium perimeter is enclosed by a fence, and there's limited access in or out throughout the night. As I mentioned, no beer will be allowed to leave the premises. And finally, we will have special event medical on site manning our first aid rooms. In addition to that, we'll have Annapolis Police on site for all of their home games. As I mentioned, we have a track record of serving beer at the stadium through Sodexo for previous events. And we feel that we have the policies and procedures in place to accommodate beer sales in a safe and responsible manner. Fortunately, we've not had any issues in the past, knock on wood. And again, we believe that we have the proper procedures in place to prevent that. And we hope to continue that with our partnership and a relationship with the Annapolis Blues as they kick off their inaugural season. So thank you all for your time, and I will be happy to answer any questions that the board might have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gibbons. Does anybody have any questions regarding these requests?
No.
All right, with no questions,
we approve.
Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, Mr. Gibbons, your requests are approved. Thanks so much for being here.
Okay, thank you all. Have a good night.
All right, next we have an extension request, a request for a second 6-month extension to pick up an approved alcoholic beverage license by Sea Salt Restaurant LLC, trading as Sea Salt, 1 Park Place, Suite 7, Annapolis 21401. License was approved on March 2nd, 2022. Applicant requested a pickup day of May 1st, 2022. The first extension was to November 1st, 2022. And then this next extension would be this final and second 6 months extension. So, Mr. Hogan, if you could just give us your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, good evening. John Hogan, 162 Green Street, Annapolis, Maryland, 21401.
All right. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the status of the restaurant and how much time you think you're going to need?
The status is we're building out. We got building permits issued from the city of Annapolis on, I believe it was the 21st or 22nd of March, 23. So just a little bit a month ago. We've got about a 16-week lead right now from our general contractor, and equipment schedule delivery is primarily what drives us right now. So anywhere from 14 to 19 weeks, ideally, if we can push it and get open early August, that would be amazing. But equipment schedules are probably the biggest driver right now. So we're just asking for another extension, and hopefully we don't have to see you again here on Zoom, but in the restaurant late summer.
And you guys, so construction has actually finally started then, right? Like it's a construction site right now inside.
Yeah. I'm happy to walk you through it if you'd like to meet me up there anytime. Pretty much right now we have a concrete floor, the subfloor. What was Fido's Irish restaurant before is pretty much gone. So yeah, is a renovation, let's call it. We're not building 4 walls and a roof, but fairly significant kitchen demo, and front of house is completely different. That's the plans at this stage. Yeah.
Okay. Any additional questions regarding this request for an extension?
I move we approve.
Yeah, I second.
I'll second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye. Your request is granted. Good luck, John.
Okay,
luck,
great.
John.
Thanks. Good night. Take care.
Thanks. Last but not least, consumption of alcoholic beverages on city property request by the city of Annapolis for the Hillman Garage opening event, 150 Gorman Street, Annapolis 21401. Ms. Raktovich, how are you tonight?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good. If we could just give us, we probably don't need it, but just your name and address for the record, just so we have it.
My name is Hillary Raftovich. My address is 2003 Tundra Court, Annapolis, Maryland.
All right, thanks. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about this one.
So the Hillman Garage is almost completed, and we'll be having an opening event. The current scheduled date that we're requesting for is June 15th. Let me make sure that's right. I'm saying the date. And with a backup date of the 21st as our rain date. And the event will include live music. So there will be music from 5 to 7. We have security guards. The alcohol is beer and wine only. And we will be carding at the point of service. We have tips trained servers to do the point of service sales. And we have security guards to do the alcohol control. This will be on the roof of the new garage. So the only exits are the 2 stairwells and the gem cart that we'll be using to get people up and down. So we'll have security to make sure nobody leaves with any alcohol from the roof. Yeah, I think that's everything that you all need to know.
All right. Assuming you have many responsible adults at this event, and not very many kids.
And our security is provided by both private security. We have a few paid security guards, as well as the Annapolis Police Department.
Gotcha. Yeah, I figured it'd be a pretty tight ship up there. Does anybody have any questions regarding this request?
I move for approval.
Second. I'll second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. Your request is granted. Thanks for sitting with us tonight.
Thank you. It was interesting. Been a long
Always
time
is.
into a liquor board hearing.
I know. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Hillary.
Thanks, Hillary. Thank you.
Hi, Hillary.
All right. That's it. Next, we need to reconvene in an executive session to go over one citizen comment and then go through all of our violations. I'm assuming, Julian, we haven't heard from any of our failures to attend, right?
I'm afraid not. No, anyone I've tried,
Okay.
I have not been able to get through to.
That's all right. I appreciate you trying. So with that, I would move that we go off the record and reconvene in an executive session.
Okay.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.